If somebody were to ask me what they're going to experience when they come to a Dangerous Good conference, get ready. Get ready to see a visual element that's going to leave you wanting more. From the moment you walk in, you're going to hear this sound, and it's kind of like the heartbeat of the conference. There's going to be some elements that are going to take you deep inside yourself, where you're going to be ready to accept what's going to happen in worship and the Word. This conference has been designed specifically for the man that is wanting to surrender themselves, but just doesn't know how to get there. My wife always laughs at me because I'll go to church and I want to fix everything. And there's guys out there who, they go to a concert, they go to, a show, they even go to a movie and go, why do they do it that way? And sadly, that is me. And so I kind of had to think about if I were to build something that was going to be influential for men, there needed to be some key elements in there. So basically, I had to swallow my pride, think about everything that I've ever wanted to fix at every event, show, movie, concert, whatever, those thoughts to paper and let that paper come alive.
Yes, which this is the short one. This is front of house, right?
I didn't want to build something that was boring. I didn't want to build something that was lacking. I didn't want to build something that people didn't want to come back to. I wanted them to go, when is the next one and where can I go to be there? So when designing the looks so that from the second you walk in, you get this big, overwhelming type of experience, that's with LED screens, that's with lighting, you're completely immersed in this visual atmosphere. And we want our guys to see how big this movement is. We don't want it to be a distraction, but we definitely want it to be an experience. So you could expect a lot from the conference in ways of atmosphere and visuals.
Check. Usually that's quality. Derek, look at that custom foam.
So when it came to building the worship experience, I knew that this had to be big. This had to be worship leaders that were influential, that believed in our mission, that believed that men need to get healthy, and would stand by us through this whole movement. And so when I called the guys at Jesus Culture, they were like, we're in. When you talk about men and worship, you go to a men's conference or you go up to the mountain and you're around all these guys and boom, they start singing. You get them into church and all of a sudden they're next to their wives and kids and they're mumbling. That's why music is so important and worship is so important with our movement, because we want these guys to come to this conference and feel free and be able to take that and translate that into their families. So our goal when bringing in these talented worship artists with these amazing sets is to bring something out of these guys that they've never felt before and bring that home to the family.
Don't die. It's the phone!
So at the Dangerous Good Conference, we have an introduction of music, and then we bring the men into a story about a man who is in the midst of tension.
Early on in the process, there's a quote that Kenny mentioned, which is, big wheels turn on small axles. And that's really what we wanted to convey in these stories, is that our seemingly small choices have great potential of consequences out in the world, either good consequences or bad consequences. And each of these characters, we really take a look at when they make a choice, how that affects others and how it affects themselves. And then they get themselves in really crazy situations. And I think that connects to each of us too, because we make choices. And the truth is, our seemingly small choices do have potential to make, great ripples out in the world, good or bad.
And that's where I love Wandering Lions, in the sense of that's every man. That's the man in the mirror. You can tell yourself truth, or you can self-deceive. And in this case, he self-deceives. But even when we do that, there's redemption and life in Christ.
When Jesus declared public impact, he was weaponized by the Spirit of God to be dangerous with goodness. And then you watched him go do it. He entered spaces other men wouldn't enter. He talked to people other people wouldn't talk to. He touched people other men wouldn't touch. He crossed racial lines. He crossed ethnic lines. And then when I look at Jesus, I'm like, man, that's the guy I want to be.
When I left my job as a CEO to start Every Man Ministries and had nothing but a slip of white paper, on the slip of white paper I scribbled out, here's the vision, a movement of spirit-empowered men. Here's the good that'll come out with it. And at some point in this journey, there's going to be a movement. God has provided this moment in history, the opportunity for us to actually connect our market dimension of Christian men worldwide. Bring a message that is spirit-empowered about who they are, and if you know who you are, you know what to do. And so when it comes to the Dangerous Good Conference, it is the most unique men's conference ever created. And I say that because I have such a great team of people who care about every second. From the second that man walks in, he can sense something in his gut and in his heart. He may not even know what it is. And so this last year has been kind of that last piece of the puzzle. We really don't need to write very many resources. We have helped individuals, we've helped groups, we've helped the church, and now it's time to use the foundations that we've poured to accelerate a worldwide movement. And when you let yourself just pause and think about hundreds of millions of activated, Jesus-loving, spirit-empowered men who know who they are and they know what to do in the big and small spaces of their lives, that's a lot of good that's going to happen and a lot of evil that's going to be defeated.